Hello. Today I'm going to talk about Rafa's relationship with Yunior in This Is How You Lose Her. So, Rafa is Yunior's older brother, and he has quite an influence on Yunior, even if Yunior doesn't know about it or say that straight away. Both Rafa and their father kind of treat women lightly. It says that their dad takes them when he goes to visit his girlfriends and cheats on their mother, so that kind of shows how he doesn't really value his marriage, I guess. It talks about Nilda and Rafa when they're in a relationship. It says on page 37, maybe I would have thought they were cute if I hadn't known Rafa. He might have seemed enamorado with Nilda, but he also had mad girls in orbit. So, even though he was dating Nilda, he cheated on a bunch of girls. And so that is kind of an example of how he influenced Yunior to treat girls the way he did. Now, another thing that, I guess a small thing that Rafa did for Yunior, I guess at least a little bit he stood up for him at home. Rafa was kind of the favorite kid to their parents, but he still helped Yunior a little bit. The one time where their dad is going to take Yunior to get his hair cut, Rafa helps Yunior tie his shoes. Now that might seem like a small thing, but their dad was really giving Yunior a hard time and wanting him to figure out how to tie his shoes, and so Rafa kind of took pity on him and helped him out there. So even though Rafa has some bad influences on Yunior, he can still be nice and take pity on him or whatever. So after Rafa gets cancer, he first kind of goes crazy. Like, he parties really hard and brings all his girlfriends home a lot and just is overactive, really. Well, then after a little bit it says he hits a wall, he gets a really big cough, and after that he kind of shapes up a little bit. He gets a job at the yarn barn. Like at least a little bit respectable, it's not like selling drugs or anything like that, but he works at the yarn barn for a while and makes money, and you can kind of see how Yunior had been influenced by a situation, because he's like, why are you working at a store? Like, you'd never do that. He's surprised by the fact that Rafa wants to do something normal, kind of. I guess that shows the influences that they'd had, Rafa and also his father, I guess. And so Yunior's just really confused why that's happening. But then after a little bit of working there, he gets really sick and just, like the cancer or whatever is just not going so well. So after Rafa gets sick, their relationship kind of changes a little bit. Yunior stops, being a child and kind of takes charge a little bit more. Since Rafa was sick, he loses a lot of weight and he's tired all the time. It says when he first got back from the hospital, half the time he didn't know where he was, and the other half he was too tired to even fart. So it says he lost 80 pounds to the chemo. Now, even though he tried to be all tough and cool and act like a big guy, whatever, he really actually couldn't. And so when he tries to do that, Yunior kind of protects him from himself and pulls him back and makes him stop. So after he gets the cancer and gets sick, he kind of stops being the one in charge, and Junior kind of looks after him a little bit. So that right there changes their relationship a little bit. So, kind of to summarize, Rafa and Yunior had an interesting arrangement. Rafa was kind of like Junior's role model, even though he wasn't the best role model. He didn't treat girls real well, and then that rubbed off on Yunior. But once Rafa got sick, Yunior kind of started taking care of him and kind of stepped up and was more of an adult when he did that. So yeah, that's kind of how Rafa influenced Yunior. Thank you.